Hi, I'm Niall Heaney from Gulfstream Boat Sales. Today we are in Fermanagh, County Fermanagh, Northern Ireland, taking a look around this Prestige 36, Jeanneau Prestige 36. Now we sold this boat previously a couple of years ago, around about this time of year actually, 2 years ago, and it's now back on the market again. The owner's changing, he's upgrading, and he's asked us to market the boat. So we currently have the boat advertised with the ad from a couple of years ago, so the photographs and video from back then. I'm on board today doing a virtual viewing for a client, and I decided to take the opportunity to do a quick update video. So this isn't a full review or anything, it's not one of our normal full in-depth videos because we covered a lot of stuff on the video 2 years ago. This is purely an update to show you exactly how the boat is looking now in October 2021. So if you're interested, you can get a better idea of how the boat is currently looking. So we're going to go through the boat, give you a quick overview. It's basically in the same condition as it was 2 years ago. And it's been well looked after in between times. It's been fresh water kept, it's been serviced every year, it's been wintered out of the water, and yeah, it looks every bit as good as it did whenever we previously sold it. So we'll take a walk around it now and show you how it's looking. So taking a look around the exterior of the boat, it's still just as good as it was whenever we last sold it a couple of years ago. Again, it's the end of the season, so bit of a polish certainly wouldn't go amiss, but there's no damage around the hull. The owner has been very careful. He's got a row of fenders with these nice socks on it on both sides. There's certainly no shortage of fenders, and they've obviously done a good job of protecting the hull. There's no scuffs or scrapes on it, no new damage or anything. It's just every bit as good as it was a couple of seasons ago. Blue anti-fouling on her. Probably will need another coat before it goes in the water. Next season you could go for maybe a darker colour if you wanted, a navy or a green or a black or something. I think might look a bit sharper. And then the windows, there's no leaks or anything from the windows. They're all still just as good. We've got the covers on as well. The covers are still in good condition. Prestige 36 badge. There was a wee tiny bit of damage on the swim platform here, a wee bit of cosmetic damage, which is still there. Hasn't got any worse or anything, it's just the same as it was. But apart from that, everything else across the stern looks good. The rub rail insert, that stainless steel insert, is all in very nice condition. And then the port side, take a look at the port side of her. Again, it looks just the same. No damage or anything up along there. You've got that full set of fenders too. This boat was a one owner boat whenever it was sold in 2019. So it's now a two owner boat. It has spent the last 2 years in fresh water here in Fermanagh, Northern Ireland. The anodes were replaced, changed the magnesium, and it was it's been used in fresh water, so no salt corrosion. That makes it much easier to keep a boat actually whenever it's in fresh water as well. Has been regularly serviced each winter, stored on the hard, and well looked after. The owner's done a few little upgrades, new TV and a few other bits and pieces we'll point out when we get to it, but it definitely does look fantastic, really nice condition. It is at the end of the season now, so and it needs a bit of a clean and a polish really, just a sprucing up. So we can do that for the new owner if necessary, but it's been sort of decluttered and stuff and made pretty, but a little bit of a valet would just put the finishing touch on it and have it looking like brand spanking new. Now, one thing I do want to talk about is the teak on the swim platform. This teak was previously like varnished, I think, and just as it ages it starts to sort of flake off a wee bit in places and stuff like that. The teak is in very good condition. The underlying teak looks great. It's not lifting in any areas. You know, it's not, the woodwork's not damaged, but it is just the finish on it just starting to age a wee bit. So if it was my boat, I maybe would look at sanding that teak varnish off, and you could either re-varnish it or just leave it natural, you know, just oil it. My personal preference is to leave teak natural, but it's up to you. But other than that, the teak, the woodwork in the cockpit where it's been protected and under the covers is still looking good, but just the platform itself probably just needs a wee going over. That's your life raft locker, or there's a couple of fenders in there. The boat does need a good sort of clean and detail, just because it is at the end of the season here, but everything is in good very good condition. Shore power socket there, and the covers, that aft section, all looks good as well. Let's take a walk up onto the foredeck. Some great side deck access on these boats. Plenty of handrails all the way around her. I think this one has the sun pad cushions for the bow as well. Pretty sure it has those. But everything up here is in good condition. She's had her Fermanagh registration number added for use in the inland waterways. Anchor windlass, big Lumar anchor windlass, all working perfectly. All the equipment in this boat is working perfectly. The owner told me he had to get a wee bit of maintenance done on the bow thruster, which was taken care of last winter as well. So that's all was fully stripped and serviced and is working perfectly. You get a huge big anchor locker in here, all neat and tidy, anchor and rode. You get your controls for your anchor windlass up here and your manual handle. Everything is in lovely condition. So, and again, we have a wider walkway down along the port side. It's an offset sort of superstructure on this boat, so you've got a huge big wide walkway on the port side, and it's much wider than the one on the starboard side. So very easy boat to move around. So let's head inside and take a look at the interior. The cockpit is in beautiful condition. The teak in here is much better. You can sort of see the transition just where it hasn't been getting the weather. So the teak in here is in very good condition. It's all well adhered. You know, there's no areas lifting. The lovely staircase up to the Flybridge as well is in great condition. Makes access in the Flybridge very easy. Camper covers all look good. On the interior, seat cushions on the back seat look perfect. We also got this upgraded stainless steel door, sliding door, giving you access into the saloon, sliding perfectly. That was a really nice upgrade actually. Really is a lot smarter than the standard aluminium frame door. And then coming into the saloon, again, it's all lovely condition. We've got our L-shaped lounger seat on the starboard side. We've got this twin wide bench on the port side. Upgraded TV. This is a new TV. I think the TV that was on the boat was a 240 volt only, so you had to be plugged into shore power or have the Jenny running. This one's 12 volts, so you can use it wherever, so that's good. Everything in here is just in the same condition. We still have all these nice glass lids. If you remember from a couple of years ago, I was pointing out, you get these glass covers for all the countertops that the original owner had done, and they have really done a great job of protecting all the woodwork all the way around the boat. Got a controller for a Webasto. Everything that I've put my hand to today is totally working and operational as it was whenever the boat was sold a couple of years ago. We're going to take a walk through the dash now in a bit more detail too. So let's take a look at the helm station now as well. As I said, everything that I've put my hand to today is working perfectly, which is great. The owner did replace this is your water tank or water level monitor. So it's a little gauge. Whenever you fill the tank, you hit the reset button and it counts the litres used. This wasn't working 2 years ago, but the owner went to the trouble of sourcing that wee thing and replacing it, so that's good. We've got Raymarine C120 big screen chart plotter. It now has full charts for the whole of Loch Earn system, the inland waterway system, which is good as well. So if you are thinking about keeping the boat on Loch Earn, you've got the charts preloaded, all fully working. On this side we have our depth sounder, Raymarine chart plotter, bow thruster, trim tab controls, everything's working. As I said, the bow thruster is fully serviced this winter past, and we've got all our switch gear up here. I'm not going to go through it in detail because we did that on the last video. So let's just key on the engines to show you the current hours, and we'll take control of the helm here. There we go. Might just fire the engines up as well to let you hear them starting. So currently got 575 hours on the port engine and 576 hours on the starboard engine. Whenever the boat was sold 2 years ago, it had 525 hours on it, so it was only done 50 hours in the last couple of years, so not a huge amount of use. And as I said, serviced this winter past, and probably less than 20 hours, the owner thinks, this season. You got your trim tab controls as well. They're all working. Just everything on this boat is working perfectly. Bow thruster, turn it on. Bow thruster on. Working perfectly. Really responsive bow thruster on this boat. And then if we start the engines, make sure we're in neutral, make sure we've got the key switch on here, and we'll just fire the 2 engines up so you can hear them running briefly. And let me see, just do them in order here. That's the port engine and the starboard engine. Our instruments are coming up here: oil pressure, temperature, RPM. We've got a rudder indicator here as well on the boat, which is nice on a shaft drive boat, so you can know what way your rudder's pointing. Fuel gauges, you have to hold down the button, I think, for those to work from memory. Something about making those fuel gauges work. Oh, here we go. You have to hold down this switch to operate your fuel gauges for port and starboard side. That's all working. And then this starboard engine, tacho, temperature and oil pressure, all good. We can also go through this gauge just to show you. Yeah, well, listen, there's no faults coming up on it anyway, so totally fault free. These D6 engines are incredibly reliable, and they certainly have not done very much. You know, 575 hours is not a lot of hours for a motor like that. So there you go. We'll just knock them off again. Perfect. Everything working just as it should. So we've removed the table here just to get down into the engine room and give you a wee look at that. See how that's looking at the moment. So it's a bit of a squeeze down in between them here, but engine room lights down in here. This engine bay was always nice and clean and tidy. It's very dry as well. There's virtually no water in the bottom of it, which is always a good sign. Filters and stuff were all replaced this winter past, and I don't think the boat has had a whole lot of use since then. Probably, I don't know, maybe 20 hours or something. Maybe less. So it's always been well serviced, this boat. It was professionally maintained throughout its life, and as I said, the current owner has kept that up to date. Oils and filters and everything were done winter past, and she's done very few hours since. Let me get a look at the front pulleys if I can. All the electrical installations all neat and tidy. And that's the port engine. So just to give you an idea, I mean, the idea behind these videos is if you're traveling to come and see the boat, you've got a pretty good idea before you go to the trouble of taking time to come. So hopefully this gives you a bit of an idea what the mechanical condition is like. So while we're looking behind the scenes, let's take a look in the Laserette underneath the cockpit floor as well. So again, as I said, end of the season, it could do with a wee bit of a clean, but it's pretty good. And condition wise, it's all nice and dry. You've got your heater located back in there. You've got your water locks for the exhaust. Your tanks are in here. So everything looks just as it did whenever we previously sold the boat. And you can access your sea cocks and your raw water strainers in this locker here. Again, no water worth talking about. We tiny drop in the bottom of the bilges, but everything looks in very nice condition. So there you go. That's how things are looking in the Laserette. The Galley is in lovely condition. You got our 3-ring gas hob, microwave, twin drain, twin sinks, obviously hot and cold running water. Fridge is in here. Nice big fridge on this boat. Plenty of storage space as well. That we lock needs just looking at. That we catches a bit. Yeah, there we go. Let's come out. So that needs put back in again properly. That's your bin. Might have even fixed that. Great job. This wee light here working. So it's all, as I said, all in good working order. Woodwork throughout the saloon and the galley is perfect. Coming forward then to take a look at the cabins. We have our heads compartment here on the port side. In nice condition. Their little lights, wee downlighters working there. Electric flush toilet in this boat. Nice shower enclosure. All looking good. Ensuite access to the master cabin with the centerline island berth. Again, everything in here looks really nice. The owner does have these dehumidifiers dotted around. It is the end of the season, so you know, probably could do with a good valet, to be fair, before it goes. And again, if that's, we can take care of that, not a problem. So it's nice and clean and tidy and fresh. But the owner has sort of got all of his personal effects out of the boat, and it's looking good. But yeah, a wee quick clean would have her looking absolutely A1. Condition wise, it's perfect. All the upholstery, the headlining is all in great condition, all nice and clean and tidy and dry. We've got the gas cabin then on the starboard side, twin berths. Again, all the lights and things are working. Lovely condition. These are the cushions for the Flybridge, for the sun pad up in the Flybridge. They're stored down in here. They look good. Mattresses and stuff look good. Carpet need a wee bit of a clean there. But as I said, you know, it's the end of the season. The boat does need a wee bit of a valet and freshen up, but looks great in here. All the woodwork's perfect. No leaks from the windows. Got this nice hanging locker here. I think that's screen wrap covers in there. And a wee 240 volt socket in the corner. So gas cabin looks great as well. Let's take a wee quick look up in the Flybridge. I'm not going to take the cover off up here today because it is a fairly miserable day. I don't want to get it all soaking wet, but I'll just turn the light on the phone. So you basically have a nice big tonneau cover in the Flybridge. It's all nice and dry up in here. It's been absolutely chucking it down today, so it's dry in here, which is good. So the cover's doing its job. You've got the sun pad cushions there. You've got the covers for your helm passenger seats, and you've got your helm station, which is all nicely covered as well. Listen, I know, sorry, you can't really see very much of what's the condition like up here, but basically it is the same as it was a couple of years ago. Everything's all present and correct. And it's been obviously well stored here as well. So there you go. That's how the Jeanneau Prestige 36 is looking today in October 2021. I think it looks every bit as good as it did when we sold it a couple of years ago. It's certainly benefited from spending the last couple of seasons in fresh water as well. Been fully looked after and serviced by the current owner, and she's ready to go and use, you know, literally put it in the water, turn the key and go. As I said, you might just want to give it a bit of a spruce up, bit of a spring clean, because it's sitting at the end of the season here now. But other than that, the boat is immaculate, perfect condition, and a really nice example of one of these Prestige 36s. If you're interested, if you want to arrange to come and view the boat, if you've got any questions about it, please don't hesitate to get in touch. Just give me a call on the number at the top of our webpage, or send me an email to sales@gulfstreamshop.com. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch the video. I hope you found it useful.